Muhammed.
Buyurun erenler meydanına.
Buyurun ikrar verecek olan canlar gelsinler. Meydana önce bir niyaz olun. Cümlece erenlerinin aşkı niyazı diyeceksiniz. Eyvallah.
Those who wish to join the order first have to find a guide.
Esselamu aleyküm ehli şeriat erenleri.
Aleykümselam ehli şeriat erenleri.
Esselamu aleyküm ehli marifet erenleri.
Aleykümselam ehli tarikat erenleri.
Esselamu aleyküm ehli marifet erenleri.
Aleykümselam ehli marifet erenleri. Gelme gelme dönme dönme. Gelenin malı dönenin canı. Bu meydandan iyice başlar kesin.
The seeker tries to correct his actions, which are the words and thoughts created by our own ego, the products of mind which give shape to our character. The mind, cleansed in this way, turns in on itself to reach the spiritual center with the help of the guides.
Talibin eli dedede, dedenin eli mürşitte, mürşidin eli pirde. Ayfa bima ahad aleyhullah feseyuhti ecren azima. Hatta Muhammed Mustafa Ali el-Murtaza, Seyyid Muhammed Hünkar Hacı Bektasi Veli el-Khurasan Efendimizin yeşil pencere.
The soul is the body of the spirit. It is the urge to reproduce, prompted by a desire to stay alive. These are the sine qua non of life. Without these urgings, life won't continue. Life, whether in plant, animal, man or woman, is the same life. Spirit is the same spirit. And life is female energy, the secret of kulli nefs. Life energy can be symbolized by the snake because the snake changes its skin. Life, like a snake continually changing its skin, continually renews itself through changing its body. But inside each body, the life remains the same, as the snake remains the same. The spiritual side of life begins to sleep after material creation. But creation, in order to complete evolution, requires the snake to bring the man, whose life force it has woken and taken down to earth, back to where he came from, to Ali. Man, in order to complete his evolution and become the universal man, must die in the material world and be reborn in the spiritual. In Bektasi belief, the most important tool in foregoing a person's human existence is service. A person who works and serves does not see himself as being above the others, but puts himself in the background and is humble. The purpose of humility is to be as the earth. The earth accepts dirt, tarnish, everything, and silently covers them. Everyone disturbs it, but plants, new and different life, spring from it. In the same way, man must be taken to pieces, taken down, and must die before death. The death of the soul is precisely this. A grain of wheat in the earth on dying gives 1,000 sheaves.
Gel benlik eyleme, nefsini öldür, hak yoluna canın, armağan getir, kin ile kibiri aradan kaldır, getirme benliği, yükünü dersin, yükünü dersin.
The novice, the seeker, tries to grow through the application of principles such as humility, love, tolerance, and service in order to free himself from the tarnish and the wall between his heart and mind created by feelings such as anger and pride, which prevent his seeing the divine light. However much Alevi and Bektasi congregations, amongst other Sufi lodges, seem not to observe the formal requirements of Islam, a high moral standard can be observed in them. This high moral standard helps people grow, but does not have merely being a good person as its essential aim. Indeed, the aim of being a good person itself strengthens and feeds the artificial identity, the false ego which has to be conquered. It can lead to people seeing themselves as superior. For a person on the road to becoming a universal person, The aim of these moral strictures is to lead to a completely non-judgmental position, like a mirror. If you seek God, if you want to see God's beauty, conceal what you see, don't relate what you haven't seen.
Gördüğün artık görmediğin söylemem efendim.
Only with an earth-like modesty can man find that purity and innocence, that unstained and perfect mirror-receiver-like quality that Kulli-Nefs had in the beginning, which allows him to accept what he sees and hears without being judgmental. When the pollution of thought and feelings which break up the reflection of the mirror of the heart, which create the you-me dichotomy, which distract the intention to the external world with its wants and desires, are cleaned away, the energy in the material layer of Kulli-Nefs, spiritual awareness, rises and binds with that small divine light, with Ali. Then, the way to knowledge of God opens, and Ali begins to be reflected in the mirror of the heart. Thus, the mythological theme of the sacred marriage, the marriage of Ali and Fatima in Bektasi belief, becomes realized. At first, one looking in the mirror sees the reflection, Ali, as being something completely separate from his own identity. There is still a dualism. But in time, and in the same way as the stars disappear one by one as the sun rises, personality disappears, becomes insignificant in the full grandeur of that light. This is such a fire that it annihilates everything other than itself. The consciousness of self is so reduced that this is love, the state of immediate knowledge of God, which is the rank of Fenafila. The gathering of the Sufis, their coming together, is known as Cem. This is the reason why Bektasi and Alevi ceremonies, which aim to achieve this union, are known as Cem ceremonies. The aim of worship is first to enter through the doors of the lodge and the knowledge of God in order to see that internal divine light. Then they go through the door of truth to see that it is the same as one's own sense of identity.
Esselamu aleyküm ehli marifet erenleri.
Aleykümselam ehli marifet erenleri.
Esselamu aleyküm ehli hakikat ustazları.
Aleykümselam ehli sırrı.
With human nature and the ego out of the way, the female within us, the gazelle, merges with the lion. That is Ali. So the union of life energy and spiritual energy removes the opposites, contradictions and dualism within us and leads us to peace and repose. From this point of view, the appearance of Haji Bektashvili, Mevlana and Yunus Emre in that bloody massacre of the 13th century was no coincidence. Peace outside can only be achieved through peace inside. This is the teaching of all saints, of all the wise. The airs sung to the accompaniment of the saz in Cem ceremonies, and which comprise the basis of Turkish folk literature, are poems which tell of Bektasi and Alevi teachings and beliefs. In the Cem ceremony, they turn with the love of God, and this opens the way to an emergence of a will at a deeper level. The Sema thus becomes a lesson in surrender.
Havayı eğdelim, gönül havayı eğdelim.
Alevi belief, the assembly of male and female saints presided over by Ali is known as the Assembly of 40. Ali takes 2 grapes in his hand, one black and one white, crushes them and drinks the juice. The other 39 are enchanted.
Yürüyelim şimdiden sonra uğurdur. Aslanı yitiren kopar seyirtir. Senin aşkın bana hüdos çağırtır. Dost bende yareler türlü türlüdür. Hey dost, hey dost, hey dost, hey dost. Hü 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 hü, hü 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 hü. Dediler ki keramet canım Haydar. Şu benim derdimin dermanı Haydar. Asıl kudretlerin sende ayandır. Velayet mülkünün sultanı Haydar. Hey dost, hey dost, hey dost, hey dost. Hü hü hü.